Everybody Hates Rand is a Wheel of Time podcast that will contain spoilers for all 14 books. So if you're anti-spoiler, pause this, read all 14 books, and come back. We'll be here, waiting.
Our title is a joke and is meant to be taken as such. In the context of this podcast, everybody refers to us and our cat. You are free to feel however you want about Rand, who is a fictional character. Don't DM us.
The world is a mess, Dark One stretching out his hand. The dragon's reborn, the fire's been fanned, but everybody hates Rand. Everybody hates Rand. Everybody hates Rand.
This is Everybody Hates Rand.
Yeah, this is not a Sex and the City podcast.
Although it is a nice, refreshing twist to not talk about anime and instead talk about Sex in the City.
Right.
Similar, like, it's like the Venn diagram of Sex in the City and anime. I can't really picture it, but I know it's there. Sorry, this is your friendly neighborhood Wheel of Time podcast. I'm Emily Dushaw.
I'm Sally Goodger.
Just take a big gulp of...
Yeah, it was a little hotter than
pretty
I
hot,
thought
yeah.
it was gonna be.
I've just been sipping up the whipped cream leavings. Now, we did talk quite a bit last week, and I had to cut all this out about this particular moment in Crown of Swords.
Oh, right.
We had, like, a long discussion about it, but that was a super long episode, so I took notes.
Oh, excellent.
And they're pretty bad.
I'm so excited.
Here were the 3 notes I took of stuff I cut out. Weird reading experience, parentheses, Crown of Swords is relatively fast-paced, but we've been reading it for months. So basically we were talking about how Crown of Swords is one of the shortest of the Wheel of Time books, and it takes place over 10 to 11 days.
Yeah.
So theoretically, if you're the type of person who binge reads long books like these, you'd probably get through this one super fast, but it's weird that we've been reading it over months. Yeah. It makes it all feel very drawn out.
Yeah.
I might have to go spray Ed in a minute. I wrote, Rand kills Sammael by revamping his Raven murder plan. Parentheses, kind of disappointing, what with all the build-up.
It is.
And then we'll talk about that more in a minute. And then I wrote, hilarious knowing Sammael's gonna beef it at the end. Which I think we were just talking about how, like, Sammael doing chaos with the ale.
Yeah.
Was just, like, prime dramatic irony, knowing he's gonna be dead within 48 hours or whatever.
Yeah, he's like, ha ha ha, look at me sowing the seeds of chaos, doing a little caper dance.
Yeah, and just all of Crown of Swords where he's, like, doing nefarious shit.
Yeah, and then it's like, LMFAO, you get killed by fog.
Yeah.
Stupid bitch.
Quite a drawn-out process, though.
Yeah, it also would be, like, more funny to me if it wasn't juxtaposed with everything going on with Liah.
Oh, yeah. We have to throw in a whole lot more Rand feeling guilty about killing women into this chapter, which is, I think, probably why I was reading this, and it is very similar to the end of Fires of Heaven in terms of literal maneuvers, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
Rand enters a city that's being held by one of the male Forsaken, because only the male Forsaken conquer cities. It is not up to women to hold leadership positions. But Rand enters a city with a large group of his followers, and there's fighting that takes place amongst his followers. Not amongst his followers, but between his followers and the Forsaken's followers, while he himself goes off to assassinate whoever. And thus commences a fight of the power.
Yeah.
Generally ending in whichever bad guy's demise. So that's very similar, but I consider that Fires of Heaven climax to be really good.
Yeah.
And this one to be really lackluster.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't hold up.
And I think that's partly because it's so similar. It kind of just feels like we're retreading old ground.
Yeah.
The big difference between what happens here and what happens at the end of Fires of Heaven is that Fires of Heaven, though technically not impromptu, is relatively impromptu.
Yeah.
They only plan for it about, like, 24 hours in advance when they find out that Morgause is quote-unquote dead.
Yeah.
And Rand is like, okay, we're just going tomorrow.
Yeah.
but it is made more impromptu by a lot of upsetting, unrelated things happening right before they go there, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's like, Moirain's dead, but then it's like, we still have to go kill Ravin. You know,
That sucks.
With Sammael, there has definitely been a lot of planning going into this. The way Rand behaves and the way generally everything pans out, it seems that this is the original plan coming to fruition, though without Matt spearheading the armies in Ilion, which I guess was supposed to be his original position, presumably because Matt or Perrin being in charge of the armies attacking Ilion directly would have drawn out Sammael more, which we don't talk about enough, is that Matt and Perrin were supposed to essentially be bait.
Yeah.
Which I think Matt would have understood. I don't know if Perrin was ever clued into that.
Yeah, Perrin was just like, no, I'm not fucking going to Ilion.
Yeah, which, good for Perrin.
You know? Yeah, but Matt would have been like, I get it strategically. I don't like it, but I do like
But it was
understand.
like a plan he made with Bashir. So this is obviously very well planned, but it pans out the exact same way, just in terms of structure. Mm-hmm. The only difference is that we're being sort of told, without being shown, that this has all been in the works. I don't really know how to talk about this rationally, because it makes me sound like I'm saying, Robert Jordan, you need to dumb things down for your readers. But I really do not like how the last 2 books, since this has been in the works since the beginning of Lord of Chaos, I don't like how the last 2 books have been just kind of like frequently telling us that there is a plan that's going to be in motion without telling us what the plan is.
Yeah, I think you can compare this to... I mean, it's basically kind of functioning on a heist structure, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Where, like, we know a plan is happening, but, like, the whole point of it is the reader isn't keyed into the keystone of the plan, basically, until, like, the last minute. So, like, you get bits and pieces of it, and then at the end, you're supposed to be able to put it together. I feel like I've gotten a ton of bits and pieces, but I can't put it together.
Yeah,
like,
I've had no idea what's going on for the last 2 books in Ilion.
Yeah, so it's just like, it's not fun the way Ocean's 11 is when Danny Ocean rolls up or whatever and is like, gotcha, bitch.
It's also not fun because, as I've just said repeatedly, we're not exactly breaking new ground here, Copernicus. Like...
Yeah, like the image of Rand opening the gateway into the main square of Ilion.
Exactly the same.
Like, it's cool, it kicks ass, but then you're like, we did this in Camelin, like, 3 months ago? Like... I guess if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but like...
I mean, it worked, bruh. But then why not just have Rand say, I'm just gonna do what fucking worked, but this time I'm gonna, put a little more thought into it to prevent loss of life.
Yeah.
Which seems to have been sort of his idea. He's very, cavalier about the loss of life in terms of his armies over actually attacking Ilion.
Yeah.
But he is like, when I take Ilion, the city, that's going to be with 0 loss of life except for Sammael. And he pretty much seems to have accomplished that.
Yeah, it is also frustrating because I feel like this plan didn't need as big or as complicated a distraction as Rand made it to be.
2 full books of people moving slowly over to Ilion to attack some forts.
Yeah. Like, what?
I get this book took place over 10 days.
Yeah.
I do get that, but we're talking about page length here,
not
time.
There's also, like, that cognitive dissonance of, like, okay, 10 days is not... 10 days plus, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks in Lord of Chaos. I don't know the timeline for Lord of Chaos, but let's shoot, like, a month and a half or whatever.
I also feel like, and this is kind of nitpicky, so sorry, I just want to say it right off the bat, but I feel like we have been told over and over that Sammael's one major trait is that he's a master tactician, and the bitch is stupid as fuck.
Yeah.
He just fell for the oldest trick in the book, misdirection.
Yeah.
In what way was he at all, like, good at defending his position here? It was so easy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think another thing that isn't very satisfying is that, at least with the fight with Ravin, like, Rand and Robin are really giving each other, like, a run for their money. Like, Robin is holding his own in that fight.
Yeah.
Which is part of what makes it, like, really scary. When
Yeah.
Nynaeve and Mogadien are watching it, they're like, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit.
It's so
holy
freaky,
shit.
yeah.
But, like, I feel like Sammael just, like, gets, like, one hit on Rand at the ankles. And that's it.
The Achilles heel, no less.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
Rand gets kind of fucked up, but it seems less to do with Sammael directly than just sort of the circumstances
yeah,
generally.
Like, Rand's still sick from this big wound that he got. And he just gets, like, a couple bangs and bonks, and he's like, oh, it's just hard to deal with it, because I'm already not at full strength.
Yeah.
But it's not like Sammael ever lands a hit on him. It's not like Sammael's really he's just using, like, big lightning.
This absolutely kills me. There was no reason for them to be in Shadar Logoth.
Oh, I know! Like, why didn't Rand just, like, murder... Except for Liah, which is, like, why does she even need to be here?
Well, like, narratively, yeah, I guess there's... And for Moridin, I don't know.
I know.
Like, narratively, I can think of a million reasons why Robert Jordan was like, I want this big set piece to happen in Shadar Logoth. But literally, Sammael's like, hey, let's not fight in Ilion.
Yeah, I won't let you destroy my prize.
I don't want you
whatever.
to destroy my city. I'm gonna choose a new battleground. And he chooses Shadar Logoth, the place with sentient murder mist.
I know. He's like, this will be fun, right?
He's like,
I'm a military genius.
I'm a military genius. As Sun fucking Tzu said, one of the most important things is choosing your ground. And Sammael's like, I want the ground that's covered in murder mist.
Yeah.
That sounds like the best part. How stupid can you be?
I know. Like, sir, what are you doing?
I just like, there are so many other places you could go. If I were Sammael, and I'm glad I'm not, because the bitch is dead, but if I were Sammael, I would just immediately teleport to, like, the two rivers.
Yeah. Be like, we'll destroy your ground.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha.
Let's enjoy this instead. I'm gonna murder your family and friends. I mean, I don't know if all his family and parents not there. Fucking...
Does Rand have any friends?
Yeah, he doesn't really, but, like, presumably there would be at least an emotional toll.
Yeah.
Rand would be a lot more hesitant about doing big things like Balefire.
Oh, just like the Balefire sidebar. Rand has one moment where he's like, Cat Swan told me Balefire is bad. Maybe I shouldn't do Balefire.
Moiraine also told you Balefire is bad. Actually, literally everyone, since its inception, has been telling you that Balefire is bad.
The voice in your head
Luce Therin
is like, don't do Balefire. And Rand's like, oh, but it's easy.
But Cadsuan slapped me, and therefore
I have to because I have oppositional defiance disorder. So anyway, Rand's out here Balefiring Shadar Logoth.
Yeah, to give you, like, a plot summary, we sort of danced around this.
Well, what's the plot, really? If you've read Fires of Heaven, you know.
Yeah, you pretty much don't need much here. Rand wakes up after having some gnarly, sick dreams. It's been 2 days that he's been unconscious. He wakes up with Min protecting his fragile egghead, with Cadsuan and a couple of her Aes Sedai on one side of his bed, Amis and a couple of her Aes Sedai on the other side of the bed, and they all seem to be facing off with the Ashaman, including Adley, who at the very beginning of this book, when Rand went on his errands 3, he dropped off somewhere.
Yeah.
On mysterious errands, which I guess we should have been able to surmise, and maybe did at the time of reading, but that was 3 months ago, were all related to the eventual attack on Sammael.
Yeah.
So Rand obviously understands, okay, this is our sort of green flag go. If Adley's back here reporting, then that means things are in place, regardless of how I personally feel. He obviously doesn't say that. He is like, okay, I need to do things, everyone leave. They're like, we're not leaving, you're still sick. He's naked. Gets out of bed.
Why is he naked is my question.
I know, I don't know why people always take sick people's clothes all the way off.
What are you doing?
Yeah, it's only been 2 days. Like, I understand that after maybe a few days in a coma, you'd be like, I don't want, it is part of this person's care to...
Yeah, change their clothes and keep them clean.
Yeah, but, like, full nudity?
Put him in, like, a little sleeping dress. They have those.
A little night dress.
Oh my
That would
gosh,
have been
a
so
little
charming.
yeah,
like
little...
Ebenezer Scrooge.
Rand rolls out of bed. With one of those little caps on, too. Excellent.
He's like, what year is it?
Yeah, so Rand is like, get the fuck out. He stands up naked.
And everyone immediately comments on his body because
we can't let Rand just exist without harassing him.
More to the point, Robert Jordan is so biblically afraid of nudity that he cannot let it pass by without someone commenting on it. Despite having created multiple cultures that do not care for nudity.
Yeah.
It's like he wrote in the nudity phobia into all of his main characters specifically, so every time someone's naked, he could be like, but they're naked.
Rand is naked. Catwan sees his bum.
Oh, darn.
Oh,
I'm sure
shoot.
it's a bum. We don't really need to talk about it.
Yeah.
But he requests that everyone but the Ashman leave, and in a surprising show, they do.
Yeah, seriously.
Surprising for two reasons. One, the Aes Sedai themselves have oppositional defiance disorder,
Correct.
so I don't know why they would ever do something Rand asks. Second of all, we are dealing with Rand al'Thor, the teleporting lunatic.
I know! They're like, don't fucking go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere, and he's like, I won't!
Fingers crossed behind his back.
He's like...
Ooh, I promise I won't.
He's like a little boy. Whoopsie!
Oopsie daisy. How did this happen again?
Someone needs to take away the guy's teleporting rights.
I know. They're all like, you stay here. And he's like, okay. Yeah. And they believe him.
Why would you believe him?
This is only the 97th time he's disappeared in the night.
So fucking stupid.
To do shit like try to end a rebellion by himself.
I hate this motherfucker.
Also, this man just got kidnapped, like, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, there is zero, like, discussion about that. He's like, how am I alive? And Katsuan's like, these multiple people healed you. They've done amazing things. And Rand's like, great, thanks. No, like, follow-up, like, did anyone put on Fane?
Yeah.
What happened to the leaders of the rebellion?
Yeah, where's Darlin and
Caroline? Anything like that, he's just like, go, go, go. And it's like, buddy, I think you can wait a half hour to invade Ilion. Yeah. Like, this has been going on already for 24 hours at least.
Yeah, and also when I'm referencing kidnapping, like, Dumai's Wells did not happen that long ago, so, like, why are they not more like, you will have security personnel?
Yeah, so stupid.
So anyway, in a huge shock, as soon as they all leave and Rand gets dressed, everyone teleports to Camelin to pick up Bashir and his 9,000 horse boys.
Rand's like, okay, time to go. Adley report. Adley's like, yeah, I've been hanging out in Ilion, apparently. He's like, we arrived at our destination, which was these particular forts, and Rand's like, that's much sooner than it should have been. And Adley's like, yeah, it's because High Lord Weramon, who is in charge, because neither Matt nor Perrin could be found/bothered.
In charge because Rand kicked Matt out of the plan.
I know, Rand talks about, having dreams about begging Matt to find Elaine, and arguing with Perrin, his two last encounters with either of them.
Yeah.
Which you might think, like, oh, here's a sign that Rand feels guilty about these things. Except that there is nothing like the level of angst that Rand displays for literally any female character.
Yeah.
Liah, a barely named character,
gets
so much more angst than Matt or Perrin, who Rand has directly put in harm's way.
Yeah.
So that's just annoying, like...
Yeah, it's so stupid, especially because they arrived much sooner because Weramon ditched all of his foot soldiers to take just the cavalry to do this. And luckily the Ale are able to keep up with horses, which is insane, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Fucking the Ale.
So they have, like, a reasonably sized army when they get attacked by 9,000 Shado that have randomly been teleported.
Oh, yeah, Adley's like, oh, and we ran into some Shado. It was super weird. Didn't really slow us down, but... And everyone just skims right over that.
Yeah, they're like, oh, well...
Whatever.
What are you gonna do?
No one's like, Shado in Ilion?
Yeah, where did they come from?
Thousands of Shado in Ilion?
Yeah, and, like, none of the scouts caught it or anything.
Like it's not like Matt Rand pulls down a map, Emperor's New Groove style, and is like, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
By all accounts.
Yeah, so that is all happening, and, like, yeah, thank God the Ale are able to keep up, because Weramon just, like, ditches most of his army, because he has some weird nobleman's disdain for foot soldiers.
Yeah, we've been introduced to this in the past, and it goes back to, like, pretty much all armies. Only rich people get to ride horses because
only rich people
can
have
afford horses. Yeah. So you get your patricians are cavalry and plebeians are infantry, etc., etc. So there's class warfare going on there, and Weramon is a class dick. So
yeah. And Rand is like, damn this nobleman and his stupid military choices. And I'm like, it's because you kicked your military genius out of the party.
Yeah.
Matt
should have sent Weramon to pick up a lane.
Could you...
It would have been so funny. They would have been like, get fucked to Weramon, and I would have been like, okay.
Okay, this is a much more satisfying plot.
Much more satisfying.
So anyway, that is another part of why I think I find this all so unsatisfying, is Rand has completely mismanaged the plan, and yet somehow it still works.
Yeah, it feels like there are no consequences for his actions.
Yeah.
Like, he's still just going through with all of it, despite the fact that the odds are stacked against him. He has done a lot of poor planning in some aspects of it.
Very bad project management.
Yes.
Failing
he's a
upward.
Super bad manager
of
people. But Adley tells us that after a little while of attacking these forts, and he and Eben, I think, are the two who were there.
Eben!
It's him, Eben, and Fedwin Moore. Kind of, I think Moore is in Andor. But he and Eben were, like, obviously channeling in the hopes of getting Sammael to come out, and eventually he did. Adley's like, he's very powerful.
Yeah.
He's got, like, a singed sleeve.
Yeah.
He's like, fucking barely missed us with some fireballs.
Mm-hmm.
But Rand's like, okay, great, everything's going according to plan. Except he doesn't actually say that. He just goes on to the next thing. So we, the readers, are just like, is everything going according to plan?
It's literally
I guess
impossible
we'll just
to
find
say.
out.
We don't have a fun Kaz Brecker moment at the end where all the pieces come together.
Min volunteers to be a distraction so that they can leave, which... Girl,
you are a gender traitor.
Yeah. If I were the maidens, I would be like, you're exiled.
Yeah. You are exiled. You are banned.
Because clearly you are not able to look out for this man's safety.
I know. Like, Min keeps
Min
being
saw
like...
him stabbed 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And was like, I'm gonna let him go do his thing with... Not to be like, women have to be naggy and overprotective, what-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
I get Min's being kind of a cool girl here, letting Rand go off on his boys' night.
That's exactly what she's doing.
But, hey, what? Makes no sense.
Yeah, it's just like...
She's just, like, dickmatized or something.
Like, we have yet another instance where Rand is like, I can't tell the maidens because they'll want to come. They are your bodyguard.
But I don't want women to die. Okay, then you shouldn't have made them your bodyguard.
Yeah, what the fuck were you doing, you dumb piece of shit? And it's just like, now not only are we not letting the female warriors, bodyguards, very competent fighter ladies do their job, we now have brought another woman into that to, like, stop them from doing it. It's just like the sexism piling on top of sexism on top of sexism is just getting real old.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Whatever. She goes off.
They teleport to Andor, specifically right to, like, Bashir's camp, where everything is also ready to go because the Ashman were partly acting as messenger pigeons.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Tybalt. Here to join us?
The
Ashman have been acting as glorified messenger pigeons, so Bashir already knows it's time to go. He tells us he's got 9,000 cavalry, Saldean cavalry, and 15,000 men who Mazrim Tem has turned away from the Black Tower.
That's so many.
Which is an astounding number.
Yeah.
Given that it's only been a few months.
Yeah, also...
since the Black Tower's inception.
Like, as we've talked about, like, at length before, like, it's a very interesting phenomena, whatever, going on, that there are, like, all these men who are like, I will be tested to see if I'm able to channel, when up to, like, 3 months ago, it was literally a death sentence, and it still is a death sentence in a lot of parts of the world. Just because the Black Tower exists doesn't mean they're protecting every male channeler, you know?
Yeah.
So there's been 15,000 men, plus everyone who got accepted in the Black Tower, that's like, sure, test me for being able to channel. What the fuck? That's just, like, Shadow level incomprehensible numbers to me.
Yeah, it's a major cultural shift that we are not talking enough about.
Yeah. And I get it. Rand is the Dragon Reborn. He makes everything change. It just feels like we spend so much time on shit like Rand's fight with the maidens, and we're not talking about, like, the actual, like, interesting, intricate politics of, like, men being able to change, like, whatever, man.
And the, like, rationalization of why we're getting some things and not the other is that we're seeing through Rand's eyes, so what we're seeing is things he cares about versus things he doesn't care about. Yeah. And it is infuriating that the guy who is our savior of the world cares more about hindering his bodyguards just because they happen to be women than, I don't know, the fact that...
You got something to say?
Yeah, did you meow right into the microphone? That tons of men are now interested in channeling. Like, wow.
Yeah, because it's like, Rand, you are responsible for those men.
Yeah.
If those men are upheaving their lives to come and get tested at your request, basically, like, what are you doing for them? Nothing. What Bashir is doing for them, I guess, is turning them into soldier boys.
Giving them crossbows and big shields.
Yeah.
That's all Rand, again, because he doesn't care, like, notices about them.
Yeah.
But I care. I want to know what, like, Matt and Bashir cooked up for these guys.
I know.
Because apparently there was a plan.
So it's just frustrating. It's this, like, Rand claims he cares so much about the world, but yet he only cares about women. Like, men are completely disposable to him. Kind of in the same way we talked about Matt in the last few chapters, being like, well, because they're soldiers, death is something they've agreed to, basically. So, like, I don't need to grieve for men.
Yeah.
And it's like, bestie, that's not how it works. The loss of human life is tragic. No matter...
Regardless of one's gender.
Yeah. So the men are out here being stupid.
Rand specifically forbids Bashir's wife from coming with them, or any of the wives. Bashir doesn't argue, probably because he's like, I just want to get to fighting.
Yeah.
So it's just another Rand being like, women won't die.
No women dead on my watch.
And if I were Bashir's wife, I would drop kick him into outer space.
Yeah, what if Dira murdered Randolph?
That would be appropriate, I think.
She's like, actually, the savior of the world is annoying, so I killed him.
I am promoting my husband to savior of the world status. Fuck Randolph Thor.
Yes.
They teleport right into the middle of Ilion the city, not Ilion the country. Sort of, the armies start coming through, but Rand and his, count 'em, 6, Rand and his 6 Ashaman immediately start dispersing and just sort of channeling at random to trigger all of Sammael's, wards. Mm-hmm. Sammael hasn't set up traps specifically designed to attack men who can channel, just ones that will warn him if someone is channeling.
Yeah.
So Rand's idea is, I'm just going to trigger all of those, and then once they're all triggered, you know, that's it. You can't re-trigger them, so Sammael will just know that there's a bunch of male channelers, but not where specifically. They wait for literal hours. It is early afternoon when they get there, and it is evening by the time Sammael does show up. With Rand just waiting there with his stabbed side.
He's like on top of a tower too or some shit.
Yeah, he's like on top of a tower. He feels channeling. Sammael arriving, immediately goes to there, which is good because Sammael blows up where he was standing a second before. And they have a brief, in comparison to the Ravin fight where it's just like a couple of salvos.
Yeah, in D&D terms, everyone gets, you know,
one round of combat.
Yeah.
Yeah, before Sammael was like, I don't want to wreck Ilion, so come with me to this other place.
Come with me to the worst possible place for fighting at nighttime.
The worst possible terrain at sundown. And Rand's just like, sure, whatever. He shows up at Shadar Lagoth, and if I were Rand, I would have started laughing. Like, are you kidding? You dumbass.
Yeah, just leave. The city will kill him without me interfering at all.
Yeah, just be like, alright, bitch, have fun.
Good luck.
But Rand starts kind of wandering through the city. He eventually finds out that there are Trollocs and Myrddraal in the city. Presumably the reason Sammael wanted to bring Rand here, if we're being generous, is that he had set up some sort of ambush with Trollocs and Myrddraal. But as a reminder, this map is just full of blank, unpopulated space.
Yeah.
Where Sammael could have done this. So
yes, like...
that isn't full of murder fog.
Idiot, bitch. Bitch idiot.
Bitch idiot. He also stumbles into Liah, who midway through... sorry, couldn't remember the name of the book for a minute. Midway through Lord of Chaos, when Rand came to Shadar Logoth with the Ogier and the maidens, they lost Liah, and she was presumed dead. Apparently she has been just living here for the last few months.
I'm very confused about this.
Yeah.
Because I have several questions. Why not just leave? If there's something in the city preventing you from leaving, like if the fog is, causing issues, what are you eating?
Yeah.
How?
What is she, like, meant to be a hallucination?
Yeah.
Is she meant to be like a projection of Shadar Logoth? It's like a sentient, sock puppet type thing. We'll never know.
None of it makes any sense.
There are no answers. Anyway,
it's not adding up.
Rand runs through the city a bit. Liah disappears. He runs straight into some Trollocs and Murdrol, who he fights with a sword made out of magic. That causes Sammael to bombard the area with lightning, kind of pockmarking craters into the ground. Rand accidentally falls into one of these and is dangling by his hand when who should appear but a tall, handsome man who helps him out of the pit. And besties, I have a controversial opinion. Rand has more sexual chemistry with Moridin than any of his female.
Oh, I agree.
I was like, I want these two to talk.
I know.
Moridin's the most interesting part of these chapters.
I agree. It's honestly a little bit unfortunate that it turns out to be Moridin and not,
just a random dude.
Yeah, just, some random dude who's been really good at channeling but has evaded everybody. And it's well, who's this fun, new, sexy character?
I'm gonna be your new mentor, Yeah. No, he's just Moridin was apparently watching the way he's always watching Sammael. And I was like, fuck, I can't believe the Dragon Reborn die by dying in a... falling in a hole.
Pathetic.
This is
Both of you are having a really pathetic showing here.
This is awful.
As a gay man, I'm embarrassed for you.
What the fuck? So he pulls Rand out, and I don't know, it's just they just have a very natural conversation for two people who don't know each other, and Rand is in the middle of fighting Sammael.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to occur to Rand that, Sammael could channel to make himself look differently.
I know.
Or anything.
He just, trusts him. He's so handsome.
He's just a handsome, tall man. He's so tall, I trust him. He's as tall as me. This is rare.
Tall people can't just lie. You think they're just out here being hot and lying?
People can be tall and lie? And Moridin is, acting so normally to his literal nemesis.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just an interesting dynamic, and it's pretty frustrating that we don't get the two of them sitting down and chatting until book 14, at which point Rand has progressed to his full enlightened, I am the avatar of God sort of persona, and Moridin has more or less become more of an avatar for the Dark One. These two just men who are sort of representing big forces outside of their control are really interesting.
Oh, yeah, I agree. No, I loved his little cameo, especially where he's just you're an idiot.
Yeah, he's just hey, dummy, don't you know shit about Sammael? He'll want to murder you somewhere, where you've had an achievement.
Sammael is so annoying.
I know.
Everyone's we're able to beat Sammael because these are the things we know about him. If we try to take something that's his, he'll throw a hissy fit. And also, if he wants to kill you, he'll want to do it somewhere symbolic.
He's a toddler.
He's so dumb.
He's a total dummy. Wow.
But tragically, Moridin isn't with us for very long. Although they do balefire each other's balefire, and that causes some type of...
Yeah, they both attempt to balefire at the sentient at Mashadar, but in opposite directions.
Yeah.
Kind of shooting over each other's heads, to get something behind the other guy. But these streams of balefire don't cross the streams, and that creates some sort of mind meldy moment.
Yeah.
Which will become very relevant at the very end of this book, but is sort of sadly left to fizzle until it becomes relevant at the very end of the series. But Rand is like, oh, duh, Sammael, of course, will be hanging around outside the Waygate because that's one of my achievements? Okay, by the loosest definition, sure. I would say it's the Ogier's achievements.
Yeah, I was like, who? Okay, colonizer, like, come on. Gotta take credit for everything.
But Rand gets a vantage point looking down on this, like, square where the Waygate is. He spots Sammael and is about to snipe him with balefire, ignoring everyone's warnings.
Including the horror that just happened when two streams of balefire hit each
like,
other.
oh, that wasn't weird at all. I'll just keep doing it. It's like, buddy?
I hate you.
He's getting ready to do that when Liah reappears, Deus Ex Liah. And all she does is sort of stand on a high point while Mashadar starts to eat her.
Yeah.
And Rand is like, oh no, I have to mercy kill a woman.
Again.
So he balefires her so that she stops existing before her agony even started. Stupid. He looks away from Sammael, and when he looks back, all of the, like, mist is in the square, and there's no sign of Sammael. So he's like, of course Sammael's dead. And we, the readers, are like, this seems like a really obvious no body, no dead.
Yeah.
No body, no dead.
No body, no dead.
He's
I've
gotta
seen
be
Lord of
alive
the Rings.
somewhere. Yeah, yeah.
Gandalf comes back, bitch.
Gandalf comes back. Yeah, so Rand's like, Sammael's dead. And I guess my guess is that Robert Jordan was like, I'm gonna leave it ambiguous in case I want to bring Sammael back.
Ugh.
Like Liah, apparently, because people can just live in Shadar Logoth, these totally happy existences.
There's actually just a Target down the street. You can just set up in the Shadar Logoth Target.
Yeah,
it's
Shadar
fine.
Logoth is a lot like Brooklyn. Very unwelcoming to strangers, but you can live there.
Yeah.
But Rand's like, whatever, if Sammael was alive, he would have killed me by now. So he's dead. And Robert Jordan's like, yeah, I will not go back on that, so he is dead.
So Sammael was killed by the murder fog.
Yeah, that means that from Sammael's point of view, and there might have been some, like, balefire mechanics going on here. Like, Rand did something with balefire. And so things happened faster. But that also feels like a cop-out, because as you'll recall, Manavienda and Asmodean all got resurrected because of Rand's use of balefire, eliminating Robin from existence.
Yeah.
So that's tough. But yeah, Sammael's just dead. Rip.
That was easy.
That was
Staples.
a lot easier than the 3 books of lead-up led me to believe it would be.
Yeah.
Rand stumbles back to Ilion, where Bashir, of course, greets him cockily. It's like, hey.
Hey, it's me.
We took the city. It was surprisingly easy. And Rand's like, yeah, just like this entire plot. Bashir's like, here's the council of what is usually 9, but now is 8, because Sammael was masquerading as the 9th guy. And they're all like, hey, do you want to be king of Ilion? And Rand's like, I mean, what happened to the normal king? And they're like, well, he disappeared 2 days ago, which is surprising because everyone, I think, thought he'd been disappeared quite a while ago.
Yeah.
I would have assumed. But apparently he'd been under Sammael's thumb until Sammael got distracted in the last month or so, causing mischief in various parts of the globe. Honestly, it didn't seem like it was taking up that much of his time, so I don't know why he couldn't, multitask.
He's also a bad project manager.
Sammael sucks at everything. That's my hot take. Which is real sad for the Short King representation. We have to rely on Talmanes entirely. He's carrying that on his back.
Got a couple Short Kings. Got Bashir.
Oh, yeah,
Got
Bashir.
Rodel Aturald.
You're right.
Who rolls in with a velvet beauty mark on his face.
Stop. Turald, Bashir, Talmanes, Ideal Threesome.
I agree. They're also hot.
Ah, God.
Yeah, but as far as Short King representation in The Forsaken.
In The Forsaken specifically, yeah, Sammael beefed it.
Absolute piece of shit.
Loser.
Loser. You're short and you're a loser.
Sure, and you suck at battles. The one thing you're supposed to be good at, you suck at. But the king disappeared, I think he turns out to be alive somewhere, but I could be wrong about that.
It's not
I
surprising.
think he, like, ends up in the White Tower or something.
Of course he does. Robert Jordan refuses to kill people, except Sammael.
I know, it's so annoying. Rand's like, okay, cool, I'll be king of Ilion. Oh my god, I forgot the most hilarious part, which is that, Rand comes back and is like, Sammael's dead. And he says, Dashiva sighs in relief. And remember, Dashiva is himself one of the Forsaken. So is Dashiva like, thank fuck, that guy's gone, I fucking hated him. Or was Rand misconstruing his sigh of relief as a sigh of like, God, stupid idiot.
That's stupid. He keeps killing my coworkers.
Another one down. Another one bites the dust.
Be like, Sammael is dumb.
No, Dashi was just like,
I've literally been in Ren's room while he's sickly and dying.
Yeah, Dashi was like ranking my coworkers from least competent to most competent. Sammael's at the fucking bottom of the list.
Yeah.
But Rand accepts the crown of Ilion. But we leave right there. Kind of a little, not like a big cliffhanger. Cliffhanger in terms of Matt, for sure. Yeah. We are leaving Matt
dead?
Yeah. Is Matt dead? Is Matt alive? Who knows? And we're leaving Rand at the tail end of another world-conquering accomplishment, but he does have a lot of major shit to deal with, interpersonally, if nothing else.
Yeah, we also get an annoying little, like,
word spread.
Omniscient thing at the end, yeah.
No one knew what was happening, and everyone conflated what happened in Ilion with what happened in Abu Dar, so blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay.
Well, you can't trust the news? What?
Shocking. But hey,
News
you all.
has bias?
That was the Crown of Swords.
That was the crown of a crown of swords.
Yeah, we finally.
Which bothers me because why isn't it called the Crown of Swords, which is what they literally call the crown at the end of the book?
Yeah,
it's
like,
called a crown of
the
swords.
laurel crown, but it has some little swords in it, so now it's called the Crown of Swords.
So why isn't the book the Crown of Swords? The next book is The Path of Daggers.
The next book should have been A Crown of Swords, the second one. And then another
Crown, two swords.
Two crown, two swords.
Tokyo Drift.
Oh God. I wish every series would use the naming convention of the Fast and Furious movies. No one has done it as good as they did.
I make that joke all the time. Literally, someone will be like, what if there was a sequel? And I'll just be like, Two Crown, Two Sword.
Yeah, it never
because
stops being funny.
Perfect. It's the perfect name for a sequel. Like, truly no one is doing it as good as the Fast and Furious franchise.
In all regards.
Ugh.
How many swords would you rate this crown?
How many swords? Okay. How many swords total are we going out of?
10.
10? I think I would give it 6 out of 10 swords.
That's how many I was gonna give it.
Nice.
6 out of 10 swords.
Yeah, there are some real highs in this book.
But also some real lows. Some
yeah.
real gnarly stuff about abuse of power, sexual assault, misogyny. Mm-hmm. Just a lot of gnarly stuff.
Yeah.
But it does have some banging moments, so
yeah.
In some ways this book fucks, but in other ways it fucking sucks.
Yeah, I agree. They're 6 out of 10 swords.
Okay, well,
we did it! Elwood's voice throws cap.
Oh, we did it.
I haven't watched Legally Blonde in a long time.
Oh, let's do it. Hey, thanks for listening. Thanks for sticking with us through season 7.
Season 7.
Thank you to Glenna McKenzie for our theme song, to our patrons on Patreon, and to our followers on social media.
Yeah.
We will be back in 3 weeks' time.
Yes.
As in the next 2 weeks there will be no new EHR episode in your podcast player. Content on Patreon will also be delayed due to the holiday break. Please forgive us for that, but we will be spending some time with family and friends. Do you have anything to add?
No, I just hope that everybody has a really happy holiday season. If you are celebrating holidays, this winter season. And if not, I hope you just have a really nice winter time wherever you are. Drink some hot cocoa.
Yeah.
Unless you're in the southern hemisphere, and then it will be hot, so.
Then drink some, nice, cool soda. pina colada. or
Ooh, a
something.
pina colada. If you like pina colada.
You're so annoying. Not as annoying as Sammael, but pretty annoying. Do you have a sign off?
This will be my Christmas sign off, but my 3-year-old nephew calls Santa Ho-Ho. And it's just like the funniest thing in the world to me, because he'll be like, Sally, Ho-Ho is coming.
He really weaponized that against me. The other day I woke up with a lot of fluff on me. And it was, I think, from a tissue. Like, I had a box of tissues next to my bed, and whatever, one of the tissues had some fluff in it. And I was like, I just had a really weird night. I woke up with a bunch of fluff on it. And Sally looked me dead in the eyes and said, maybe Ho-Ho visited you last night. It was so mean.
Oh, I love it so much. So go rejoice, it's Ho-Ho season.
Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.